Are you afraid of death? It's a heavy question, but let's be honest. Ever since human beings first gained consciousness, we have been obsessed with our own finite lifespan. The pharaohs of Egypt built monumental pyramids to prepare for the afterlife. Qin Shi Huang, the first emperor to unify China, sent an entire fleet across the sea searching for the elixir of immortal life. Today, Silicon Valley billionaires are pouring billions of dollars into biotech, genetic engineering, and AI, all with a singular goal: to hack aging and never die. We search for immortality in religion, in technology, in myths of a fountain of youth. We fear old age. We fear decay. But what if I told you that right now, the secret to eternal life isn't hidden in a high-tech lab or on a mythical island? What if I told you it's floating right now in our oceans? And it's not a god, it's not a super-advanced AI. It's a tiny, fragile, almost invisible creature, about the size of your pinky nail. A jellyfish. You heard me right. Today, we're not talking about billionaires or emperors. We are talking about Turritopsis dohrnii, the immortal jellyfish. A creature that doesn't just challenge our definition of old age, but completely rewrites the fundamental rules of life and death. How can a simple blob of jelly, with almost no brain, achieve what humanity has craved for millennia? Hold on tight, because the answer will make you question everything you thought you knew about biology. Part 2. The normal life cycle, the one-way street. Before we get to the extraordinary, we have to understand the ordinary. For almost every single living thing on this planet, including you, me, and 99.9% of all other jellyfish species, life is a one-way street. You are born, you grow, you mature, you reproduce, you get old, and you die. It is an unbreakable contract with Mother Nature. Let's look at the life cycle of a typical jellyfish. An egg and sperm meet in the water, creating a tiny larva called a planula. This larva swims around until it finds a hard surface, like a rock or the hull of a ship, and attaches itself. It then grows into something called a polyp. It looks like a tiny rooted sea anemone. In this stage, it clones itself, creating a whole colony of polyps. When conditions are right, these polyps bud and release tiny free-swimming baby jellyfish called ephra. These ephra grow into the medusa, the adult bell-shaped jellyfish we all recognize. This is the adult stage. It swims freely, hunts, and is capable of sexual reproduction, releasing its own eggs or sperm. And then, after fulfilling its mission to pass on its genes, the medusa grows old, its body breaks down, and it dies. It dissolves back into the ocean. This is the law, from an elephant to a fruit fly: birth, growth, reproduction, death. The arrow of time only moves forward. But Turritopsis dohrnii? This tiny jellyfish tore up the contract. Part 3. The biological reset button, when death is not the end. Now, let's follow the immortal jellyfish Turritopsis dohrnii. It goes through the exact same stages: larva, polyp, and then the adult medusa, swimming and reproducing. But when this jellyfish faces a mortal threat, if it gets physically injured, if it's starving, or if it simply gets old, something impossible happens. Instead of accepting death, the adult medusa begins to reverse. It stops swimming, its bell-shaped body begins to shrink, its tentacles retract, pulling back and being absorbed into its own body. The entire creature sinks to the seafloor and transforms into a shapeless little blob, technically a cyst. It looks, for all intents and purposes, dead, but it isn't. From inside that blob, a biological miracle is taking place. Its cells are reprogramming themselves, and a few days later, something new grows out of that blob, a polyp colony. Do you understand the implications? Let me use an analogy. Imagine an adult butterfly. After a full life of flying, drinking nectar, and laying eggs, instead of dying, it could just transform itself back into a caterpillar. And then that caterpillar would eat leaves, form a chrysalis, and emerge as a new butterfly, but technically the same individual. The Turritopsis dohrnii has turned back its own biological clock. It reverts from its adult stage, medusa, back to its infant stage, polyp, ready to start its entire life cycle all over again. It doesn't die of old age, it simply resets. This means that, theoretically, a single Turritopsis dohrnii can repeat this cycle forever. It is biologically immortal. Now, immortal does not mean invincible. They still die. They get eaten by fish, they get sick from diseases, they are a crucial part of the food web. But if you were to keep one in a perfectly safe lab with no predators and plenty of food, it would never die of old age. It would simply continually rejuvenate itself and live on. Part 4. The Science Behind the Miracle. Transdifferentiation. So how does it do this? This isn't magic. This is radical biology. The scientific keyword you need to know is transdifferentiation. Think about your own body. We have hundreds of different specialized cell types: skin cells, muscle cells, brain cells, liver cells. Each cell has been differentiated to do one specific job. A skin cell will always be a skin cell. A nerve cell will always be a nerve cell. They cannot, under normal circumstances, change their identity. It's a one-way path. This is why when your heart is damaged in a heart attack, the dead heart muscle cells are replaced by scar tissue, not new heart muscle cells. Your body doesn't know how to turn scar cells into heart cells. But the Turritopsis dohrnii can. When it decides to reset, its adult, highly specialized cells, for example, a muscle cell from its swimming bell, can do something absolutely extraordinary. They directly transform into entirely different types of cells. That muscle cell can become, say, a cell needed to form the root of a new polyp. To put it simply, the jellyfish can command its own specialized cells. Hey, muscle cell, forget you're a muscle cell. I need you to become a skin cell now. This is an ability that most complex multicellular animals, like us, lost eons ago in our evolution. We traded this incredible flexibility for complexity, for a sophisticated brain, for highly specialized organs. The jellyfish, with its simple two-layered body and basic nerve net, retained, or perhaps re-evolved, this profound ability to reprogram itself at the most fundamental level. It's like a computer programmer who can access their own source code and rewrite it at will. This ability, transdifferentiation, is the holy grail of regenerative medicine. Part 5. The meaning for humans. Can we be immortal? All right, so a jellyfish figured it out. The obvious next question, Can we learn from it? Can we hack our own bodies to do the same thing? The short answer is no, at least not in the same way. The human body is billions of times more complex. Our brains, our memories, our very consciousness, it's all stored in a physical structure, our neurons, that cannot be reset to an infant state without completely erasing the person you are. But what we can learn from it isn't immortality in the sense of looping our lives. It's the secret of regeneration. Scientists all over the world are right now sequencing the Turritopsis Dohrnii genome. They are trying to pinpoint the exact genes that get switched on or switched off during this transdifferentiation process. Imagine, what if we could trigger similar genes in humans to turn that scar tissue in a heart back into healthy, beating heart muscle after a heart attack? What if we could convince the cells around a damaged spinal cord to transform themselves into new nerve cells, curing paralysis? What if we could reprogram faulty pancreatic cells to cure type 1 diabetes? This isn't about living forever. This is about living healthier and healing damage we once thought was permanent. The secret of the immortal jellyfish isn't an elixir of life. It's the ultimate blueprint for regenerative medicine. Part 6. Conclusion. The lesson from the silent conqueror. And there's one final detail. One that might send a slight shiver down your spine. Because of this infinite reset ability, and because human beings have unwittingly helped them travel the world in the ballast water of cargo ships, the Turritopsis Dohrnii jellyfish has been silently invading the globe's oceans. They've been found in the Mediterranean, off the coast of Japan, in the Atlantic. They are staging a quiet global takeover, cloning themselves, resetting themselves, and simply refusing to die. It turns out Emperor Qin Shi Huang was looking in the wrong place. He stared out at the ocean searching for a mythical island, while the very thing he was looking for was floating right beneath his ships. A tiny, humble, primitive creature, yet one that wields a power that kings and emperors only dreamed of. The natural world is a strange place. It's a reminder that the most extraordinary solutions, the deepest secrets of life and death, are often found not in the noisy complexity of humanity, but in the silent, ruthless efficiency of evolution. The immortal jellyfish doesn't care about our fear of death. It doesn't philosophize. It simply exists, reverses time, and continues to live. And in the process, it just might hold the key to our own medical future. What do you think? Is this a gift from nature or a warning? Let me know your thoughts in the comments.